Today I'm going to talk about 7 ways to lose stubborn fat. You ready for them? Number 1, cut out ultra-processed food. Number 2, extend your natural intermittent fasting period. Number 3, cut down your meal size every meal. Number 4, avoid sodas, regular and diet. Number 5, get moving. Get on an exercise plan. Number 6, lower your stress. And number 7, ways to lose stubborn fat, get better quality sleep. We're going to explain all this. Ready? Let's dive in. All right, first, let's talk about the idea that fat is stubborn. It's not. Basically, fat is fat. It's actually an organ system in your body. You need to have enough of it, and it actually has lots of functions, but it's only when you have too much fat that it becomes an actual problem. And the only reason you might have trouble losing it is that you haven't turned on all the different tricks you have inside your body that's necessary in order to be able to shed those pounds, all right? It's very easy to gain extra fat. It can be harder to actually lose it if you're not actually getting everything optimally in position to be able to shed extra body fat, all right? But here's another point. Just because you're losing weight doesn't mean that you're losing fat, all right? Now, in fact, what you are measuring on the bathroom scale when you step on it is actually only total body weight. This includes all the weight that your body is made out of. Liquid in your body, your blood weighs something, your urine also weighs something when it's sitting in your bladder, your lymphatic fluid, all right, this is a clear fluid that's not blood, your spinal fluid weighs something, and water in your stool. In your poop actually has water. It's heavy, all right? And then, of course, you've got muscle and bone, which are important tissues. They're also pretty heavy. And then you've got body fat, all right? So that's why the number on the scale really kind of is a composite of all those things and what you really want if you want to measure specifically body fat and specifically areas of the body fat that are of concern, like your visceral fat. That's the fat inside the tube of your body, all right? Then you need to actually look at body composition because that teases apart the different types of tissue that you're actually looking at. How much fat you have compared to how much muscle you have compared to how much bone you have, all right? That's important. And if you want to actually do body composition, there is a test. It's a gold standard test called the DEXA scan, all right? D-E-X-A or DXA. And this is the body scan that reads all these tissues, muscle, bone, soft tissue, and fat, and gives you a number for each of them. So it also tells you their location as well. The location of the fat is important, all right? Now, you can see the location of some fat when you look in the mirror, right? The double chin, the fat under your arms, the muffin top. Nobody wants that. But the real fat that you want to get rid of is excess fat that's inside your belly. Not sitting on top of your belly, it's sitting inside your belly. This is called visceral fat. The word viscera means guts, all right? And visceral fat is inside the tube of your body, all right? It's like down in here. And that kind of fat grows around and can wrap itself around your organs like a glove. Now, there's too much of it. This kind of visceral fat is dangerous because it can become inflamed. And now you've got this rind of inflammatory fat wrapped around your organs, all right? And when fat is inflamed, when you have too much of it, that's when the danger starts for all kinds of chronic diseases, all right? Now, before we talk about getting rid of the stubborn, harmful extra fat, which is what you want to do, I want to actually just spend a moment saying why body fat is actually beneficial, all right? So you've heard me say this before. Body fat is an organ. It's an actual organ in your body, as important as your kidneys, your liver, your thyroid, your eyeballs, your brain. It's an organ. And because it's an organ, it actually has physiological functions. Physiological just means servicing, basically everyday living. So you can go about on your way in a healthy way. So I want to walk through why body fat is actually important. Number 1, body fat is a cushion, all right? Thank goodness we have a cushion because if you didn't have any fat that acts as a padding, if you tripped on a rug, fell on the ground, your organs might split open, all right? I mean, that's how delicate some of our organs are. Good thing we've got some body fat. It actually cushions us, all right? It's like an airbag. Number 2, body fat actually serves as a fuel tank, all right? Our adipocytes, fat cells, Adipose is fat tissue. All right, body fat is actually called adipose tissue, but our adipocytes, our fat cells, actually are fuel tanks, just like the fuel tank in your car. You know, when you pull over to the gas station and you would take the nozzle out and put it into the hole to the tank and fill it up. Well, when you're doing it for the car, you're putting gasoline into the fuel tank of your car to fill it up, to give it the energy it's going to need to be able to drive. And when we actually run our body, which is like an automobile, our fuel tanks are actually our body fat, our adipocytes, the cells that are fat cells. And the fuel we use isn't gasoline. That's for a car. The fuel we use for our body, for our metabolism, is food. And if you're looking at gasoline, you call it gallons or maybe liters if you're in Europe. But if you take a look at our metabolism, the unit of measure we give it is calories. All right. I know calories is a loaded word, but it's pretty simple. It's just a unit of measure of energy that you get from the fuel that we get for our bodies from our food. That's all it is. All right. Nothing more than that. So fat is a padding. Fat cells are actually a fuel tank that can expand. Okay. And that's how you actually want to get rid of some of it. When it expands, it can become inflamed and dangerous when it gets too big. Third healthy function of body fat is an endocrine organ. All right, endocrine meaning it produces hormones, and the hormones got released in your bloodstream, and the hormones go elsewhere in your bloodstream and act on tissues, right? Now, one of the most important hormones that your fat produces, and by the way, your fat produces about 15 plus different hormones, protein hormones. These are signals that actually can activate other organs. They're instructions, all right? But one of the most important hormones that your body fat produces is called adiponectin. Adipo, like fat, comes from fat, all right? Adiponectin, is actually a really, really important hormone. In fact, it's so important that if you were to measure all the hormones in your body, all right? So you come to my medical clinic and I write an order to get a vial of blood and we send it to the lab and I tell the lab, measure every hormone in your body, all right? You know what's going to come back? You're going to get adiponectin, but you know how high the adiponectin levels are? Adiponectin in a healthy person is 1,000 times higher than every other hormone in your body. That's how important this fat hormone is. That's why fat as an endocrine organ is absolutely critical. You got to respect your fat. It's good stuff. It actually helps you stay healthy. You know why? Because adiponectin, all right, made by body fat, actually works with insulin in order to be able to pull blood glucose, that energy from the food that you ate, into your cells to store it into muscle, to store it into the body fat, and also to help to store it in the liver. All right. So you need adiponectin made from body fat to make insulin sensitivity. If you don't have enough adiponectin, you're not going to be that insulin sensitive. And now you're on your way to metabolic syndrome and type 2 diabetes. So this is a no kidding hormone that we need to make sure that our healthy body fat is around to be able to preserve. Too much body fat actually becomes inflamed, right? And when fat is inflamed, it actually messes up the ability to be able to produce adiponectin, these other hormones. So when you've got too much fat, too much inflammation, this beautiful hormonal system that fat is supposed to produce, those 15 hormones, including adiponectin, gets basically derailed, and now adiponectin is not produced in the right way, and now insulin doesn't work in the right way. So too much body fat leads to metabolic syndrome, metabolism problems, and ultimately can lead to type 2 diabetes. Actually, it makes a lot of sense. Not that difficult to understand why too much excess fat derails our hormones and leads us to this problem with our metabolism that can lead to type 2 diabetes, right? Okay, because when insulin's not working properly, guess what? Blood sugar rises, right? I know people talk a lot about glucose spikes and glucose crashes. I want you to focus really on the fact that your body knows how to handle that most of the time. Insulin is critical, all right? But adiponectin is its partner in being able to help control that blood glucose to normal levels, all right? So if you don't want to have metabolic distress, you need to actually lower inflammation. And the one way to lower inflammation is actually lower body fat, right? This is actually a good thing that you want to do because elevated inflammation just from having too much harmful, excess inflammatory visceral fat leads to chronic diseases, right? You've heard about inflammation being a root cause of multiple diseases. I don't know if it's a root cause, but I can tell you that it actually drives, it stokes diseases to keep on marching forward faster. It can make diabetes worse. It can make cardiovascular disease worse. It can actually even make dementia worse. And it can even make cancer worse, all right? So these are the right reasons to lower the risk of these really bad diseases. That's the reason to actually fight harmful body fat. And yeah, you get a little extra benefit if you look in the mirror and you look a little bit better. That's an extra perk. But the fat that's subcutaneous fat. But the real fat you want to fight is the one that's inside the tube of your body, visceral fat. Okay, so now one of the things that you can do to fight visceral fat is burn down more calories. You want to burn more of that fat away, and you want to eat healthy plant-based foods, right? There's a whole list of things that you can actually do. But if you've been trying to lose weight and you kind of feel like you're not losing much at all, maybe none, or you're losing it, but you think you could do better, here are some of the things that you want to actually think about in order to be able to put your foot in the gas pedal and get a little bit more mileage out of weight loss, all right? So here's 7 of the most important ones. Number 1, cut out ultra-processed foods from your diet. Now, why? Because ultra-processed foods have been shown to damage your gut health. Your gut health is the gut microbiome, all right? This healthy bacteria that does so many things, including lowering inflammation, including help our body process glucose more efficiently. That insulin sensitivity, our gut bacteria also plays a role. All right, and also processing lipids, so lowering blood cholesterol. Our gut bacteria, although we don't understand exactly how it does it, our gut bacteria actually controls all of these factors. So eating ultra-processed foods, all right, can damage that. Why? Because ultra-processed foods have lots and lots of additives that you don't get in normal whole foods that you might cook into a delicious Mediterranean dish, for example, or a delicious Asian dish. These are I always tell people I eat Mediterranean style. That's what I wrote about in my book, Eat to Beat Your Diet. And see, I'll show you where it is right here. There's a whole chapter on my way of eating Mediterranean style. But ultra-processed foods have these additives, artificial preservative, artificial coloring, artificial flavoring, thickeners, emulsifiers, all right, stabilizers, so that the food will last a long time, sitting on a shelf of a grocery store someplace. All right, all these things have been shown in the lab to be harmful to your gut microbiome, your gut health. And when you derail your gut health, you derail your metabolic health as well. And your inflammation starts to rise because the best non-steroidal anti-inflammatory that we have is actually in our gut bacteria. All right. Plus, our gut bacteria helps to maintain insulin sensitivity. So in addition to adipinectin, our gut bacteria also plays a role in insulin sensitivity. So if you want to actually draw on that glucose, which then helps you metabolize your energy more efficiently, you want to actually be able to, and not sit around and causing more problems, you want actually good gut health. Now, the other thing is that our healthy gut bacteria it helps to control a process called thermogenesis. Now, you might have seen me talk about thermogenesis in one of my other videos, but thermogenesis, thermo is heat, genesis is generating heat. And one of the things our body does, it's really remarkable, in burning down excess body fat is to turn on thermogenesis. I kind of give it an example. It's like if you have a gas range, okay, and you want to boil some water or heat up some soup, what do? You go to the range, you go, turn on the dial, click, 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 whoosh, now you got a flame. That flame is hot. That's thermogenesis, all right? And in our body, there's a special kind of fat called brown fat that goes click, 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 whoosh, turns on a heat generation, generates heat, thermogenesis. That's brown fat that does it. And in order to be able to draw down the fuel to be able to create that heat, now on your stove, it's coming from the gas lines going into your house, but in your body, the brown fat triggers thermogenesis by drawing the energy from your excess harmful visceral fat. You want to burn down more fat? Do thermogenesis, and your gut health is actually important for this. So If you eat ultra-processed foods, you might be damaging your gut microbiome. So cut out those ultra-processed foods is very, very important in order to be able to help your gut, help you push forward that idea of losing extra body fat, right? So this video is really about if you're on a weight loss program, you're trying to figure out like, what can I do to optimize and lose a little bit more? Cutting out, I would say cut out, all right? If you want to kind of push the envelope, cut out ultra-processed foods, all right? Second thing you want to do if you want to actually push the envelope on weight loss, and this is the second one, is extend your natural period of intermittent fasting. Let me explain. Intermittent fasting is when you're not eating, and when you're not eating for a long enough period of time, your metabolism basically says, oh, we're not getting more energy in, so let's go ahead and burn energy, right? So think about it. It's kind of like the gear shift in your car. When you're at the gas station filling up, that's your body during the daytime when you're eating, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, whatever. All right. Your metabolism is shutting off the fat burning and it's actually focusing on loading in fuel. All right. Now, what happens when you're done loading up the fuel? Right. So what are you going to do? You're going to put the nozzle out of the car back into onto the pump. Then you're going to start the car and you're going to drive off and you're going to be burning fuel. Well, in our body, when you're not eating, it means you're done filling up the fuel tank, right? Put it back, filling on a pump. For us, that's putting the dishes in the sink. When you're not eating for a long enough time, our metabolism does like the car. It switches gears and goes into drive. And drive mode means you're burning down body fat, anything stored, all right? So when you're fasting, that means you're not eating. When you're not eating, your metabolism goes, all right, we're not loading up fuel, let's burn fuel. All right. And when you're burning fuel, you're burning down fuel from stored fat. So if you want to actually push the envelope and losing extra body fat, try to extend your period of intermittent fasting. Now, some people go, I don't know how to do that. Like intermittent fasting sounds so difficult. You know, this whole issue about 16 and 8 and how do I even calculate that? How do I fit it into my life? Listen, it's pretty easy. The reason is this. Intermittent fasting is the most natural thing that we all do every single day of our lives. What am I talking about? I'm talking about sleeping. Because when we're sleeping, we're not eating, which means that when we're sleeping, we're fasting. Now, you're supposed to sleep about 8 hours every day. If you're not, you should try to aim to get 8 hours of sleep a day. Good for all kinds of health systems. But I can tell you, when you're sleeping from 8 hours a day, so let's say you go to bed at 11 and you get up at 7. I know, you're probably going to bed later or you might be waking up earlier or whatever. That's okay. I'm just kind of giving you an example here. If you go to bed at 11 and you get up at 7 in the morning, that's 8 hours of sleep. All right. During that period of time, your body, your metabolism is shifting into gears like a Ferrari, like a sports car to burn down fuel that's been stored in your fat. So if you want to push the envelope to burn down some extra fuel, how do you do it? Pretty easy. Extend this window, this period of time of intermittent fasting. How do you do it? All right. So I'm going to tell you how I do it because this is actually simple. If I can do it, you guys can do it. First thing is the night before you go to bed, don't eat after dinner. All right. So think about how many people who eat dinner. Let's say that you eat dinner at 7 and you finish at 8. And then you go do some work or you watch some Netflix or whatever you're actually doing. You might have a snack with you, all right? Or you might have a late dessert or you might have a bedtime snack. You know, you might out of habit. You might basically get in your PJs before you brush your teeth, you know, go check out the refrigerator one more time. Hey, is there anything here that I actually want to eat? Don't do that, all right? What you want to do to extend your fasting window, natural window, is when you're done eating the night before. So my example is that you eat dinner at 7, you put the dishes away at 8. That is a signal, all right, that you're done eating for the day. Of course you ate enough, all right, you're fine. All right, it's only habit after that you would eat afterwards. Put the dishes away, that's it for food till the next day. So let's say if you put your dishes away at 8, you don't go to bed till 11. Again, I'm just giving you an example of this. 8, 9, 10, 11, that's 3 hours, 3 extra hours that you have of extending your fast if you don't eat, all right? 3 extra hours. That's 3 hours before bedtime, then 8 hours, 11 to 7, all right? 3 plus 8, that's 11 hours of fasting just by not eating after dinner, just by saying when you put your dishes away, you're done. that itself gives your body a little extra push in order to be able to help you burn down extra body fat for weight loss. All right. Now you want to do it, leave it a little bit further because I like to get the most out of whatever it is I'm doing. All right. So in the morning, you're going to get up, right? Don't do what your mommy told you to do, which is like from childhood. We all have the same thing. Hey, hurry up, get up, roll down to the kitchen, have some breakfast so you can actually have some energy in your body to learn at school. No, don't do that. We're adults. And I'll tell you what you can do when you get up in the morning. Don't eat breakfast right away. Whatever you do, don't eat breakfast right away. Do exactly what your mom didn't want you to do. All right. For me, I get up, I brush my teeth, I take a shower, take my time getting dressed. All right. I do not go to sit down and eat breakfast right away. I might open a door and go out for a walk if the day is nice. I might pick up a book that I was reading and read a few pages. Just chill out and relax and read a little bit. All right. Stimulate my brain. I might, okay, I admit it, I might scroll through my emails or look through the news to see what's going on. All right. My point is, take about an hour after you get up before you eat anything. All right. Now let's do the math. Put the dishes away. You got 3 hours to bedtime at 11. 11 to 7, you're asleep. That's 3 plus 8. That's 11 hours. Now you get up in the morning. Don't eat for an hour. That's 1 extra hour. 11 plus 1 is 12. And suddenly you've gone from 8 hours of fasting to 12 hours of fasting. Pretty awesome, right? So, and it's an easy way to do it. Like you don't have to suffer that much. That's actually, anybody can actually do that. That's a way of actually pushing the pedal to the metal to be able to actually lose a little extra body weight. And anybody can do it. So if you're trying to lose weight and you're trying to figure out what else I can actually do, extending your intermittent fasting window is one of it. Now, if you want to get really serious and really push it, to the hilt, here's what you do. Skip breakfast altogether, right? You get up at 7. Now just skip breakfast. I sometimes skip breakfast because I'm busy and I've just gotten used to it, and it's no biggie, all right? I might get a little hungry, but I push right through it. By the way, coffee and tea, as long as you don't put milk or sugar in it, does not break your fast. So for me, if you get up in the morning and you want to skip breakfast, but you can still have your coffee, that's fine, all right? But here's how you really push it. Instead of having breakfast, you get up at 7. Now you actually don't eat until lunch, so skip breakfast. Now you gain 4 extra hours, and that's 12 plus 4. That's 16 hours, all right? So if you want to do that intense 16-8 fasting, 12 hours of eating and 12 hours not eating, that will actually work for you. You want to push the pedal to the metal, do 16 hours of fasting and 8 hours of eating. Do what I just said. Skip breakfast, eat at noon. The key is not to overeat when you're actually eating. That is actually very, very important. And that brings me to the third tip to actually extend your weight loss a little bit more than what you might be already doing. Like, again, how do you lose that stubborn fat? Meaning, how do you jumpstart a little bit more weight loss? This is an easy one, all right? Cut down your meal size. Every single meal, cut down the size, all right? And the reason is very simple, all right? If you want to lose weight, you don't want to be putting more calories into your body because you got to burn those calories if you want to actually lose weight. Food is our fuel. If you're putting too much fuel in the tank, you got to burn it off if you actually want to lose weight, all right? So whenever you get a plate of food, that plate is the energy you're going to be loading in your body. Just remember, if you want to lose weight, you're going to be burning that off. You put a big mound of food on your plate, you got a little extra work to do to burn. So if you're not losing the weight that you want to lose, you want to actually be able to actually just decrease the amount of food that you are actually eating, right? So the next time you have a plate of food in front of you or have a plate you're going to put food on, one of the things you want to ask is, why do I need so much food on my plate? Now, if you are in a restaurant, some chef, okay, or kitchen staff actually composed the plate for you and they stuck all the stuff on there. Some places want to be generous and they put a gigantic amount of food on. I find that to be wasteful because people should not be eating that amount of food, right? Like we used to complain about like the French restaurant, they serve a little tiny morsel. That might have actually been better for you. You could be a little more generous, but whatever amount somebody else serves you, don't feel like you have to finish it, all right? So I always say, whatever your eyes see, take 2/3 of it only. Cut out 1/3. Now, if you're serving yourself, all right, whatever your instinct is to put food on the plate, take only 2/3. all right? So I'm saying purposefully cut down the number of, the amount of calories, the number of calories, the amount of food you have in your plate, all right? Most people instinctively want to put more on your plate. You know, it's instinctive. Like, oh, you're like at a buffet, you know, oh my gosh, look at all this food. I'm just going to put more, whatever, onto the plate and load it up completely. You know, that might feel good to do that, but I can tell you your body is not going to feel good when you eat all those extra calories. And if you want to lose stubborn fat, you need to think about this. Don't load up your plate extra. So again, what I was telling you is that whenever you're serving yourself, take less than what you would actually take. Okay, I said take only 2/3. Here, I'm actually going to up the game a little bit and say take only half of what you would want to normally take. That way should make you think half. I don't know, I can't calculate 2/3 that easily. Half is easy, all right? And if you're eating at a restaurant, don't clean your plate, all right? Quit the clean plate club is what I say. Do not overload your body with fuel. You don't want to actually do that, all right? So cut down the amount of food that you put on your plate every single meal. I don't care what meal it is, cut it down, all right? Here's another tip to actually push the envelope of not losing weight. And maybe some of you are already doing this, but if you're not, I'm just going to give it to you straight. Lose the soda. Do not drink any sodas. Now, I'm talking about colas for sure, both regular and diet, but any soda, any carbonated beverage that actually, you know, made with fruit or flavoring, cut it all out, all right? The beverages to drink are water, tea, and coffee, all right? Those are the best ones to drink, all right? They don't have extra calories in it. Now, if you don't drink soda, this is not for you. But if you do drink soda, and a lot of people drink soda, just remember, if you want to lose more weight, you got to stop your soda habit because regular soda can have as much as 9 teaspoons of sugar added to the typical can of soda. Even though you're slaking your thirst and you're getting hydration, you're also loading calories into your body. That's why we call the sodas like empty calories, because you're not getting anything else. You're not getting dietary fiber. You're not getting polyphenols. All you're getting is a gigantic load of sugar. And again, I'm not even going into the glucose spike thing. That's a whole other conversation we can have in another video. But right now, I'm just talking about loading too much fuel in your body if you're trying to lose extra weight. All right. Now, the key thing is that diet soda, even worse. You know why? Because a lot of these artificial sweeteners, right? Aspartame, sucralose, saccharin. These are the things that are found in artificially sweetened beverages. All right. Always, always, always check the ingredient label to see if you see any artificial sweeteners. I can tell you, if you go like to some places you might even expect actually has artificial sweeteners do. Typical thing, you know, like if you were to go into an Asian store, for example, and pick up a tropical drink, lychee, coconut, or some other exotic thing, papaya, kiwi. If you pick it up, you might actually see that, you know, that's not natural sweetener. They actually have added aspartame into it. All right. That is something xylitol, that's definitely something you don't want to do, because research is now showing that these artificial sweeteners, even though they have 0 calories, all right, true, they're not sugar. When you actually consume them, these chemicals, artificial sweeteners, tumble down into your gut. And you know what they do? They poison your gut microbiome. That damages your gut health. Remember I told you, your gut microbiome is key to helping you lower your lipids, make your insulin work better, insulin sensitivity, use glucose, absorb glucose better, and lower your lipids. If you mess with your gut, all those things get reversed. And now it becomes a lot harder to lose extra body fat, right? Lose extra weight. All right. So remember, you got to protect your gut microbiome. And you always want to make sure that you are, if this is you want to push for more weight loss. All right. You got that stubborn fat, cut out soda altogether. I don't care if it's regular. I don't care if it's diet. Just cut it out. Water, tea, coffee. That's the substitution. And by the way, don't put sugar or artificial sweeteners in your tea or your coffee. All right, that's my little trick for you. I can tell you that tea and coffee, they also have polyphenols. Tea has catechins, and coffee has chlorogenic acid. They actually ramp up your metabolism and help you burn down extra body fat. So little extra benefit from there you would never get from soda, regular or diet or otherwise. All right. Okay, another tip. All right, move more. Get on your feet. Get onto an exercise program if you want to lose extra body fat. Why? Simply put, when you're actually in motion, you're physically in motion, you're going to burn calories. You know, listen, just sitting around all day long, you're tapping on your laptop, and then you got to do your laundry, and then you got to go to the bathroom, and then you got to actually go out and get the mail. All that stuff does burn calories as well. In fact, even fidgeting, you know, tap, 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 you know, shaking the leg, that burns calories as well. But we can burn a lot more calories to actually make yourself burn down extra fat if you exercise. Now, I always tell people, because a lot of people don't exercise, the simplest way to get started is simply to go for a walk, 30-minute walk every day. Do it, squeeze it into your day, however you can. Morning, break it up. After dinner, for me, after dinner is a good one. All right. Move 30 minutes, walk briskly. All right. Get a little cardio out of it. Make it so that not that easy for you to have a conversation. All right. But that's a good brisk walk. It's good for your heart, but it's also good for burning down calories. But you could get into you can kick it up a notch and really get into an exercise program, whether it's aerobics, cardio, running, jogging, swimming, playing tennis, basketball. Hey, you know what? Even ballroom dancing, great way to actually get your heart rate up and to burn down those extra calories. And it's a social activity as well. All right. If you're playing tennis or dancing with a partner, that's really good, because socializing actually has been shown to actually improve longevity. So it's an important key to actually living longer, is actually to have family and friends that you actually relate to, right? So remember to exercise. You want to step up your calorie burn. That's actually something that you should be thinking about. In addition to all these other things that I talked about, stepping up your exercise, everyone can always do more exercise. Now, if you're somebody who has other conditions like a heart condition, or, you know, if you've got diabetes, if you've got arthritis, definitely before you pick up on a new exercise program, something new, something more rigorous, talk with your doctor about it, because you want to make sure that you whatever you're planning on doing is actually safe and you can get some guidelines. I can't give you medical advice, but as a doctor, I can tell you, if a patient's talking to me about that, I would actually take their entire picture into consideration and maybe give them some words of caution. Hey, listen, if you start feeling chest pain or shortness of breath or palpitations, then you got to slow it down and, you know, call me and let me know about it, and I can kind of guide you further. So this is how you can work with your doctor before you really step up on your exercise program. If you're a young, healthy person, no problem. But if you want to actually lose weight, you know, if you want to actually push weight loss a little bit further, that stubborn body fat, it could be that you just needed to move a little bit more or do any of these other things that we've actually talked about as well. All right. Okay. Next step for pushing the envelope for weight loss is to lower your stress. Chill out. Easier said than done. I know. All right. Listen, we are stress machines, and we live in a world where there's a lot of stress, even if it's not in our own lives, which most people have. All you got to do is to take a look at the outside world, read the news. You know, you can see there's a lot of friggin' stress out there. All right. Now, that actually makes it harder to lose weight. You know why? Because stress causes cortisol to come out. Cortisol is a stress hormone. It is the hormone that's called a fight or flight hormone. You want to fight, all right? It actually puts you in a state of mind that actually allows you to actually, you know, burn down, move quickly and get into action to be able to fight. Now, little stress is normal and maybe even healthy, all right? Short bursts of cortisol, you know, kind of keep you in good shape. But chronic cortisol, chronic stress, and this is what I'm talking about. We live in a world with a lot of chronic stress. Chronic stress actually is very, very dangerous for your overall health. And it makes it hard to actually focus on the things to do weight loss. So in addition to raising your blood pressure, which is what stress does, in addition to altering your mental health, so you're like totally stressed out all the time, can even be depressed, chronic stress has been shown to cause weight gain, not weight loss. Let me repeat that. Chronic stress with cortisol, all right, causes weight gain, makes it harder to lose weight. A lot of reasons for this. I don't have time to go into all the hormone physiology about it, but one thing is clear. When you are super stressed, it's easier to overeat. It's easier to choose unhealthy foods, and that all that can cause you to gain weight. I'm so stressed out, I can't work out today. All right, you can undo a lot of these other steps if you're constantly stressed. I don't have a quick fix for you in terms of reducing your stress. That's very individual, but I can tell you there are some things that can be useful. First starts with just breathing. All right, breathing can actually help you relax and can help you lower your blood pressure. You know how to do this? Slow down your breathing, and you can control your breathing by breathing in through your nose. Hold it, and then breathe out through your mouth. All right. If that sounds earthy, crunchy, let me tell you, there's some real science behind it, because when you breathe in through your nose, you've got sinuses, right? Breathing in through your nose actually helps your body generate nitric oxide. This is the signaling molecule. Won a Nobel Prize. The discoverer who worked on it, won the Nobel Prize. My friend and colleague, Dr. Lou Ignarro. Actually, breathing in through your nose causes nitric oxide to be generated in your body, and nitric oxide relaxes your blood vessels, and you start to calm immediately. All right. That's why when people tell you to meditate, take a moment and breathe. Breathe out through your mouth. You don't want to actually breathe out through your nose after you do that, because you'll snort out all the nitric oxide. Breathe in, the nitric oxide gets built up. Breathe out, the air comes out, the carbon dioxide comes out from your lungs, but you're retaining the nitric oxide. That relaxes you. Trust me, it actually works.
Hey there, check this out. I've got a special resource on the 5 science-based ways to lose fat that I made just for you, and it's free. Many of us want to lose weight for our own reasons, but I'm here to tell you that there's an even better reason to lose harmful excess visceral fat for your health. And guess what? In this resource, I share the 5 things that anyone can do to lose harmful excess body fat. All you have to do is click the link below to access the resource. Now, back to the video.
Walking actually, or exercising also, is really, really a good way to counter stress and to relax you as well. Listening to music is also a way of actually lowering stress. Now, what kind of music? Listen, try some classical music. I know classical music isn't everybody's bag of tea, but classical music has been shown to actually be much more relaxing than, let's say, rock music. All right. This has been studied in the lab, actually, when you actually take lab animals and you expose them to classical music versus rock music or popular music. The classical music animals always have a more chill hormonal system. So if you don't like classical music, try putting some on your playlist and see what type you like. There's so many different kinds. Or if you have music that just calms you, whether it's jazz, instrumental, or maybe a song that is calming for you, put that on too, or a singer whose voice is really calming. That actually can help you lower stress as well. That's a really good, easy thing to do, music. All right. If you have a hobby, and a lot of people don't have hobbies, and this is a whole other conversation about quality of life and longevity, but getting a hobby is a really important thing. If you find a hobby you're really interested in and you feel kind of stressed out, just go right over to your hobby and do it. That also lowers stress. Another way to lower stress is if you have an animal, all right? Pet dog, pet cat, all right? They're kind of furry, cuddly, give you a very meaningful lowering of blood pressure and helps you chill out if you are feeling stressed, all right? If you look into a dog's eyes and gaze into their eyes, it's actually quite calming, all right? And I think the dog knows that. Same thing as a cat. If you press the cat, if you pat a cat, all right, stroke a cat, and it starts purring, it feels relaxed and chilled. That actually makes you feel chilled as well. Having a pet has been shown to lower chronic stress. So that's another little trick you might actually want to consider doing, having a pet if you don't have one. And if you have one, use your pet. All right, that's a good way to lower stress as well. Again, if you want to actually push the envelope, really get a little bit more weight loss going on, maybe you haven't put enough focus on managing your chronic stress. I'm just telling you, it's very individual because everyone's stress is different and everybody responds to lowering stress in different ways. But this is something that you can do. Oh, one last thing I'll tell you, humor. It turns out that having a good laugh, comedy club or listening to a podcast by a comedian, that can actually help you lower stress as well. So again, I'm just trying to give you some really different types of simple ways to actually lower your stress. All right. Now, the 7th way I'm telling you in this video of how to actually push the envelope to lose a little bit more weight if you're having difficulty getting rid of that stubborn body fat is get some good quality sleep. Sleep, okay, Z's. And sleeping is key not only for overall health, but it actually helps your hormones, helps your metabolism, helps your gut health, all right? All those things are helped by good quality of sleep. Now, if you know how important this is. If you've ever experienced jet lag, you fly one coast to the next coast, or you fly internationally and you come back, right? What happens is your body's on a different time zone and you're going to have insomnia. It's going to be either harder for you to get to sleep at a certain time, or it's going to be more difficult for you to wake up because your body's not adjusted yet. Or if you ever stayed up all night, take it from me. As a doctor who went through training, I had so many all-nighters I had to pull during my medical training and during medical school. It's not funny, all right? You stay up all night, you are friggin' white the next day. I mean, you are like useless, and that's not good, all right? You feel bad the next day because your system is out of whack, all right? You don't get good quality sleep. Your metabolism is out of whack. Your health really suffers. And this applies to weight loss as well. And I want to tell you why. If you want to lose weight, you want to actually have good quality sleep. Now, why is this? Because sleep actually does a lot for your body fat and metabolism. It turns out that when we are sleeping deeply, and I'm talking good quality deep sleep, that's where you dreaming type of sleep, REM sleep, all right? That's the time that our body is switching on to that fat burning mode. Remember I told you the Ferrari shifting gears during that fasting period. When you're actually in deep dreaming sleep, that's when our metabolism is geared to burn away the most amount of body fat, all right? Deep, good quality sleep burns away body fat. When you are sleeping, you're actually losing fat. Not exercising, sleeping actually does it. Exercise does it too, but sleeping does it as well. Now, again, remember, I told you, when you're awake, all right, and this is what's happening when you're pulling an all-nighter, your metabolism is geared towards adding calories into your system to store that energy, all right? And people who pull all-nighters, like you're snacking all night long, you order that pizza, people drink things, or drinking all night long, whatever it is you're doing that is having you stay up all night long, all right, I can think of all the things that people do that are not good besides eating junk food, having energy drinks, drinking sodas if they're staying up all night long, or partying all night long. This is going to screw up your metabolism. Your body's not going to be burning down extra body fat. And what you want to do is to get into that sleep mode. When you're sleeping, your body shifts gears. No more intake of energy. We're going to start burning down energy. You shift it like a race car, like a Ferrari, into fat burning mode, all right? And when you're burning fat, the first place it draws from is your harmful visceral fat, the fat in the tube of your gut, which is harmful for your health, and then you'll be losing more weight, all right? So this is actually how to actually really get good quality sleep. You want to really make sure you're optimizing all of these parameters that can help you get good quality sleep. By the way, sleeping requires you to have little preparation. So that's why, most people just kind of run until they're out of fuel, like out of gas, and then just crash on the bed. If you're coming back from a trip, you might do that, all right? If you had a really, really busy day, you might do that. Oh man, I'm just gonna crash. But I can tell you that it's helpful for sleep hygiene, all right? Sleep hygiene is preparing for bed, just like oral hygiene, you're brushing your teeth. There's a preparation for that as well, right? Put the toothpaste on, brush your teeth this way and that way, scrape the tongue, get the floss going, all that kind of stuff. Same thing for sleep, all right? By preparing to sleep, if you want a good quality sleep, have a pattern, get in your PJs if you sleep with PJs, have a pattern of getting into bed. What are you going to do? You're going to read? That's good. I strongly suggest that you don't read on a screen. In fact, it's better to put your phone away, screen time, couple of hours before you go to bed as part of your good sleep hygiene. If you really want to lose weight, stop looking at the screen because it's got blue light. That blue light, if you have it within a couple of hours of going to bed, it's going to keep you from it's going to impact your brain in a way that's going to keep you from getting good quality sleep. So if you want to actually optimize your sleep as part of your sleep hygiene, a couple hours before you go to bed, all right, check your email or do whatever you need to do, then put it away someplace, all right? Lock it away someplace or put it in its charger, then go to bed. Do not bring your device to bed with you. Now look, it's easier said than done. I know I sometimes bring my device to bed. That's not good, all right? So I'm just giving you what would be the ideal thing to do, but turn off that blue light, get good quality sleep. Don't eat before bedtime. Eating before bedtime not only cuts into your fat burning time, it also interferes with your good quality sleep. And obviously don't drink caffeine. If you want to get good quality sleep, don't drink caffeine that's going to keep you up. I'm not talking about like the Red Bulls. I'm talking about coffee or even tea. Some people are more sensitive than others, but don't drink it after 6 o'clock or whatever. Don't put any more caffeine into your body, and then you'll actually get better sleep. Also, don't drink alcohol before bedtime. Alcohol also disrupts your fat burning, and also alcohol also loads calories into your system, which is not what you want to do. And alcohol also disrupts your sleep as well. All right? Okay. By the way, one other thing I'm going to tell you about that could be disturbing a good quality sleep is if you have sleep apnea. So if your bed partner tells you, hey, you're really snoring a lot, you might have sleep apnea. And sleep apnea is a situation where a lot of people have it. You've got a little extra tissue, a little extra fatty tissue actually, in the back of your throat. So when you're sleeping and you're really relaxed, that fat tissue in the back of your throat also relaxes, it sags, and it blocks your airway. You know, you're sleeping, it's blocking your airway. You snore, you get up all of a sudden, and you're not really sleeping all night long. If you think you have sleep apnea, snoring is a clue that you do. You need to tell your doctor, and your doctor may refer you to a sleep specialist who can do a sleep study to prove what your breathing is like at night. All right, that could be really important. Part of what they do in a sleep lab. So basically you bring a small overnight bag and you go into a lab where they've got a bed, not exactly the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, but it's a place where you can study. It's comfortable enough. And you go to bed, they put electrodes on, they can actually monitor your sleeping and your movements to see if you actually have too much tissue in the back of your throat as well. Okay, we covered a lot of material in this video, so let me just recap it for you. Here are 7 things that you might want to consider doing if you want to push your body to lose more stubborn body fat. Number 1, cut out all extra processed foods. Number 2, extend that period of your natural intermittent fasting around bedtime. All right, that's the night before, after dinner, and the morning of after you get up. Number 3, cut down your meal size every single meal. Number 4, avoid sodas of any kind, regular and diet. Number 5, get moving, all right? Get on an exercise plan. When it's physically active, when you're exercising, you're burning down extra calories. That's how you can actually lose a little more weight. Number 6, lower your stress. Lowering that stress, put your body in the right mode, for hormonal mode, to be able to lose weight as opposed to gain weight. All right, you want to lose weight. You want to lower that stress. So good for other aspects of your health as well. Lots of little tips I gave you on how you can do that, including breathing. And then number 7 is actually get better quality sleep. Sleeping is key for burning down fat. Maybe counterintuitive, but it actually is what actually happens. So you want to get as good quality sleep as possible, and you'll be better for it the next day anyway. Okay, hope you learned something new from this video. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Dr. Lee out.
Hi there. If you enjoyed watching this video, I know you'll love the next one. Stay here and check it out, and I'll see you there.